Hello and welcome to this fun event. I know you guys are probably going to take a couple seconds to get joined, get your audio all connected, make sure that you can hear us, see us if you so choose, but also familiarize yourself a little bit with the controls that are probably either at the bottom of your screen. If you're on mobile, they may be somewhere up at the top of your screen, but just find and familiarize yourself with where the Q&A section is. Part of this presentation is getting your getting your questions answered with some team on the line here with you today. So find that Q&A section. Let us know where it is that you're joining us from. We tend to find that you may actually find a friend on these presentations that are looking at the same things you are. So it's always good to have those connections made for you. So as people are joining here, I'm going to introduce myself and go through a few housekeeping bits here. One of those housekeeping bits is down here in the bottom of your screen. You should see an website address, www.ecovillages.life. You are welcome to go after this presentation and go check out some more information about Playa Pacifica or any of the other EcoVillages communities on that website. There you will also find a webinar gallery. This presentation is going to be specific to the Playa Pacifica community in Nicaragua, but we have tons of other educational webinars there, webinars about relocating to Central America in general, relocating to a country like Nicaragua, Belize, and other places around the region. So go take a quick peek in there. If this is your first webinar with us, welcome so much. We're going to introduce ourselves here in just a minute and a little bit about who EcoVillages is. Patrick, I'll let you do that in your introduction. But we are so glad to have you on today. If you're returning and you've already been with us on webinars before, welcome back. And we hope that you learn a little bit more about Playa Pacifica in our presentation today. So my name is Ali Rodriguez. I am the sales director here at EcoVillages. A little bit of my background is that I moved to Central America just over 5.5, wow, it's almost gonna be 6 years ago. And, I started my journey out in Belize, have since gone to Honduras, and I now live full-time in Panama. Although I have not lived in Nicaragua just yet, I get to see and hear so much about it through Andrea and Patrick. It's like I've gone myself. So I'm going to turn this over here to you, Patrick, so you can do a little bit of introduction about yourself and a little bit about EcoVillages.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Ellie. My name is Patrick Hebert. I'm one of the co-founders of EcoVillages. And really what EcoVillages is all about is designing and developing communities, and communities with beautiful homes built around kind of the sustainability concept, because a lot of us these days are really looking for less reliance on governments and corporations and things like that, and living in a beautiful location like a tropical home in a tropical community, finding other like-minded people to be with and just enjoying life and getting away from some of the divisiveness out there. So we've really focused with EcoVillages on certain pillars of minimalism but with luxury in the homes, and like I said, the sustainability. We've introduced something called the FIRST certification, which FIRST, which is for freedom, independence, resilience, sustainability, and transparency. And that really is kind of what our communities are all about. And I'm looking forward to talking about Playa Pacifica today. It's one of our favorite places.
So in other words, Patrick, EcoVillages is the design team behind Playa Pacifica, but you work really closely with the developer as well. Tell us a little bit about Kent and his team there.
Yeah, exactly. In this case, EcoVillages designed the community, and we work with the Playa Pacifica Resort development team. Kent Payne is one of the leaders of the group, and they're a really great group. They focus really heavily on quality of construction, just all around quality. So we really like working with them. Not all developers are created equal, and we're very comfortable working with this group because we know what we design is what's going to be built, and that's important to us because obviously the EcoVillages reputation goes along with these communities as well. So we're looking forward to this community. Andrea and I were just there till a couple days ago for the last month, so it's one of our favorite spots. It was Nicaragua was the first place that I ever got a second residency. And so, you know, it's really our home.
Perfect, beautiful. And I just wanted to bring that up because here in a couple of slides, we'll actually have a video for you guys, and we'll see if you can spot Patrick and Kent on the drums in that video. So Andrea, you are here with us as well there next to Patrick. Tell us a little bit about your story in this region and with EcoVillages.
Thank you, Ali. Hi, everybody. Well, my name is Andrea Martinez. I am from Ecuador. I am an expat now living in Central America. Nicaragua is, we're living in between Nicaragua and Panama, but Nicaragua was the first place that I really knew about Central America. That it does hold a really special part in my heart because that's where I met my husband, Patrick. And that is the place where we both decided to make our home. So we have a home there just nearby where Playa Pacifica is located, and also a home here in Panama. So as Patrick was mentioning, we went there just a week ago, and we do divide our time between Panama and Nicaragua. Our families are in Ecuador and in Canada, so we're practically in the middle, and it's easier for us to visit them in both countries and then to come to visit us. So I'm also very excited to talk about Playa Pacifica because it is really a project that I'm very, very excited about.
I love it. So welcome home to Playa Pacifica. I'm just going to say hi to Lee there. Hi, Lee. Thank you for joining us. You are, it looks like in Ontario, but you live in San Juan del Sur in Nicaragua. So welcome to this presentation. I'm glad you could join us today. So Playa Pacifica, Andrea, you mentioned you guys just spent most of the month of July on the grounds, getting to see the property again. Of course, you guys have been there obviously a lot over the last decade or so, but tell us a little bit about the feeling at Playa Pacifica, the grounds, the environment and atmosphere.
Yeah, so the first time that I went there was in 2016, and I really fell in love with the community. There's a lot of people that are expats and also locals. So we have a big group of friends that are Nicaraguans and also that come from different parts of the world. And right now this community is getting even bigger because before it was mostly North Americans, right? Americans and from the United States, from Canada, but now there are people that are coming from Europe, Australia, New Zealand. So it's really exciting to see that there's more people coming. And every time we go, it's like we enjoy every minute. You know, we go to the restaurant, we see the sunsets, we go to our friends' houses and have dinners, barbecues, weddings, events. You know, there's a lot of events going on. We also go to the beach, you know, do our beach walks, watch the sunset, like tons of things, play music. We also have a band, a GP Music Association that we have there. So we have a lot of fun. Like every day is something very exciting to do, and also to relax. You know, if you want to see your friends, you do it. If you don't, you just stay at home, enjoy the ocean sound, you know, the breeze. And it's really bittersweet every time we have to leave this place. It's like I'm always like get sad that couple of days before, like he knows like what is going on. I just don't want to leave.
Andrea's pretty transparent with how she's feeling, and she's like a giddy schoolgirl when we're going to Playa Pacifica, and then, you know, moping around when we're having to leave. So.
yeah. So we got there from Costa Rica. Actually, we did a drive in a car. I really don't like much of going in airplanes. I like to travel, but I don't like the airport thing and going on flights. I'm a little bit scared of that. So Patrick said, why don't we drive there and have a driver to take us there? So we took a car from San Jose in Costa Rica to the border. I didn't know it was like 5 hours the same day, but it was really nice because the driver was really good. So you guys, if you want to do that trip, we can recommend you good drivers. And when we got to the border, there's somebody also that waits for you there, a guide to help you go through migration. Migration can be something sometimes challenging because there's a lot of buses that come from other countries of foreigners that come through, that want to go through the borders. So if there's a bus that has stopped there to go through migration, it can take for 1 hour or two. So be prepared for that if you want to do it via you know, on a
On the
car.
land.
Yeah, via land. And then on the other side, we had a van that came from Playa Pacifica, because we have a shuttle there that can pick you up, a shuttle that can pick you up, and took us to Gran Pacifica, to Playa Pacifica.
Perfect. So if something is on your mind, if you don't want to make the flight, or maybe you're already down in the region and you want to try the land border crossings, we definitely have a lot of knowledge and experience in that, and can put you on the right path to making that trip enjoyable and fun. So let's move in here to Playa Pacifica. I know you guys are excited to hear about the homes, and we're going to get there in a couple of slides here. But if you've been thinking about the Pacific Ocean and where Playa Pacifica is located on the Pacific coast, you may be thinking that, you know, the climate might not be right from you. The water is too cold. So talk to us a little bit about that and how it compares to other coastal cities.
So for me, being a South American woman, the weather is something that I'm used to, because it's very similar to Ecuador, right? It's a tropical weather that doesn't change the whole year, which is very cool, because you don't have to worry about changing your wardrobe depending on the seasons, right? Rainy season and dry season, that's all you have. The only difference is that the rainy season, it rains, and it's mostly like a rain shower. That's how you say it, right?
Yep,
So
you got it.
So, and it's like an hour of rain, and then the sun comes up again, right? And because this area is located, Playa Pacifica is located by the ocean, you get also the breeze. And even if it's tropical, and you know, the weather runs between 79 to 85 Fahrenheit. Even if you say, oh, it's hot, but you have this breeze that is always coming to your, when you are walking, you know, you want to be outside, right? And because it's humid, you feel like you're like detoxing in a way. So that is the cool thing about the Pacific coast in Nicaragua. I am not used to the extreme weathers. Victoria is an example here. Even in British Columbia, like I know
that's the least extreme in Canada.
It's really nice. But I've been there with Patrick, and well, Patrick knows more about that than I do. But even when it is springtime, it's cold for me, right? I start like still trembling, but I know that the weather can be really, really cold, that you don't want to go out, or it can get super hot. Like right now, I think that it's very hot, right? Mm. So there's extreme weathers that you don't get that in Central America. The same with New York. I've seen that when it gets super hot, people have to go out, you know, in their swimsuits, because it's so hot and dry. And here it's like you feel like you're suffocating, but you don't get that in Nicaragua. I don't know if you want to add something more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really like the climate, because, you know, it is steady, and you kind of know you can always go outdoors. Outdoors becomes part of your life, because, you know, I grew up in central Canada, where during the winter it was too cold to go outside most of the time, and in summer it was so hot and so many mosquitoes that you didn't really like to go outside. So this is really nice, because the water temperature too is great. So I mean, I find even in California, you know, if you're swimming in the ocean in California, the water's, you know, especially Northern California, can be quite cool. In Nicaragua, it's always in the low 80s, high 20s in Celsius, and it's just the perfect, comfortable temperature. So you know, and there's, you know, then there's highlands areas within Nicaragua too. So if you want to go a little, you know, for the day, we went the other day to Granada, which is actually the oldest city in the Americas. I think it's one of the more beautiful cities in the Americas. And you know, it's got the Calzada, which is a street with a bunch of restaurants and bars and things like that. And we had lunch there, and you know, it's all within a, you know, an easy day trip of going around to different cities from here. So you can kind of get a little bit of weather variation, I guess, that way. But for the most part, I like the fact that it's just, you know, a nice, comfortable, you know, how many hours of sun you're going to get in the day, and you know what the temperature is going to be pretty much every day.
And even when it rains, it's a rain that you want to be outside, right? It's good temperature rain.
Fresh, and makes everything lush and green.
Yeah, and the rainy season is so beautiful because everything is so green. And also what you were saying about the water temperature, the people the surfers, you can go to Nicaragua to surf, and you don't have to wear only but your bathing suit. You don't need to get all the wetsuit or the dry suit to keep warm, you know. So that's another really good benefit that you can have there.
So you can save the weight in your luggage and leave those wet and dry suits at home.
I wear the same pair of shorts all year round, so it's easy to pack when I'm traveling.
And the space in your closet as well, because you don't need to have different clothes for different seasons. It's always the same.
That it cuts down on the amount of luggage that you have to bring for sure. If you are a surfer, I'm just curious if we have any surfers on the line with us here. If you want to just drop your level of surf knowledge and ability down in the Q&A, I'm just curious to know how many of you are on the line and maybe are beginners or just advanced surfers. But we talked a little bit about the location. Patrick and Andrea, y'all talked about crossing the border from Costa Rica into Nicaragua. Patrick, tell us a little bit more in depth about specifically where Playa Pacifica is located in relation to these major parts of the country like Grenada and Managua and places like that.
Yeah, absolutely, Ellie. You know, one of the reasons that, you know, we live at Playa Pacifica area is specifically because of where it is. When I moved to and became a resident in Nicaragua, well, I started coming down there a couple decades ago, and I like the convenience of this being the closest beachfront to the capital city of Managua and the airport. So, you know, there's other beautiful areas in the country. San Juan del Sur is very popular, but for me, it was too far away from the city. Like you land in the airport and then you have another 2.5 or 3 hours to drive. We're 40, 45 minutes away from the city at Playa Pacifica. So that's a huge benefit for me. Plus I have to travel a lot, so I had to always go back to the airport. And Andrea and I like to go to, you know, Managua. Managua might not be the prettiest city in the world, but Grenada certainly is, and Leon is very beautiful. So you have all three of the major cities, and Chinandega is not too far. That's a fourth city that, you know, you're kind of in the center of it, Playa Pacifica. So you can kind of choose where you want to go. But we like to go to Managua because it has good restaurants and you know, go to a VIP movie or something like that and push a button and the guy brings you drinks as you watch a movie. It's kind of cool. I was never used to that in Canada. I don't know, maybe that exists there now too. But
a good place to go shopping too.
Yeah, it's got good malls and everything like that, and obviously, you know, big grocery stores and everything as well. So, you know, we can go there for the day. We can have a fun time, go out for dinner, and we're still close enough to come home to our little paradise on the beach where it's quiet and, you know, all you hear is the waves at night, and so that to me, it's just kind of the perfect location. And you can always go to some of the other places in the country, or like we said, we drove to Costa Rica. So
yeah, perfect. And you know, one of the things when they talk about owning homes is location. Everybody has a different scenario, and so just a quick reminder that we did do a full presentation on relocating to Nicaragua if you're looking for international schools, medical care, and things like that. Be sure to check out that webinar. And then shoot us any questions that you have after review. So over the next couple of slides, we're going to kind of zoom in. So we're starting big here with Nicaragua as a country, but now we're going to zoom into the community within a community. So Patrick, talk to us a little bit about Gran Pacifica and Playa Pacifica as a neighborhood within the bigger view, the bigger picture.
Yeah, well, Gran Pacifica as a whole is growing really quickly now too, with a number of communities. In fact, many communities that we've designed at EcoVillages, the Ava and the Mila and the Bella communities, which you'll see on our website if you look. But right now, our favorite is definitely the Playa Pacifica right now. Mostly, you know, for a number of reasons. One of, you know, obviously we really like the designs. I'm a real big fan of that colonial Spanish rancher style, and that's the kind of homes that we've designed here for the community, which you'll see in a minute. But location is, you know, even within a beachfront community, this is the best location. This is right beside, you know, what is kind of the center of town, up against the beach. It's the beach that I used to, when there weren't many homes here at Gran Pacifica, it's the beach that I used to kind of walk over to and go swimming in, because it's kind of got a little protection from a little spit that comes out of a sand spit, and so you've got almost like a little breakwater, and it makes it nice for swimming. And then only a few hundred yards away is the meat grinder surf break, which is a reef break, which is for experts. It's not for the faint of heart. And then on the other side is the Asachio Beach, which is a sand beach break, A-frame for surfers, and that's more of a beginner intermediate style. So you got a little of everything. And these surf breaks were actually on the front of magazines and things. They're very well known among good surfers. So
Yeah,
to me,
I love it.
that location is really key. And you know, to be able to get a home with these kind of prices that you're about to see, prices that probably won't last very long, but you know, really up against the water is pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have some surfers online here with
Cool.
us. Kelly and Lee and Janice said she took a surf camp in Costa Rica, but she's a beginner, but would love to do it again. So that's a perfect opportunity at Asachio Beach. And as you graduate into a more brave soul, I don't know if I would ever surf something called the meat grinder, but you know, it might be fun to try one day. Yeah. So zooming in here a little bit more, here is the master plan for the Playa Pacifica community specifically. And what you'll see here is a lot of other amenities built into this community specifically. And we'll get into those details a little bit later on. But Patrick, what I love having you on this presentation as a part of the design team is really explaining to us what the vision is behind these communities that EcoVillages designs. So talk to us a little bit about Playa Pacifica, kind of what the feel was and what people can expect to be part of once they become owners.
Sure. I mean, the Playa Pacifica Resort is a resort within a resort. It's the Playa Pacifica Resort within the Gran Pacifica Resort. So it's another neighborhood, really, and each neighborhood in the communities have their own certain feel and kind of story to them. With this neighborhood, we really felt like it was a Spanish ranch type of feeling. And like a little example we've talked about before is having a hitching post out in front of your home. A hitching post that's not for horses necessarily, it's for your electric golf cart. So you plug in your golf cart, and that's your new steed in front of your home. But the designs of the homes, as you'll see, are Spanish ranch style homes. All the home names are named after Spanish horses, and they're just a range of size, everything from condominiums to tiny homes, fairly large tiny homes, actually, even 2-bedroom tiny home, which is sort of unheard of in the tiny home world. But we can do it because these aren't tiny homes on wheels. These are tiny homes with a concrete foundation made out of concrete and steel. These homes will be there hundreds of years from now. And then a little bit larger 2-bedroom, 2-bath type of homes, the mid-size homes, and then kind of the estate size homes with the 3 bedrooms or larger, a little bit of room for customization and as well. And then a central clubhouse and a couple pools and restaurants. So even within this community, you have those amenities and water features and things like that. But you're also, what you don't see on the map here, you're right beside the main kind of gathering spot in Gran Pacifica is in front of the Sea Salt restaurant. There's an infinity pool where people get together, have a glass of wine or a beer and watch the sunsets. And it's nice because you're chatting with a lot of like-minded people. There's not that divisiveness like I was mentioning earlier. And it's just a good community feel. So it doesn't matter which neighborhood you're living in within Gran Pacifica, it's all one community. But in terms of value, I think it's very hard to compete with Playa Pacifica, with being right on one of the prettiest beaches in the world, I think. And I think when in the video you'll see in a minute, you'll see a bit of Andrea and I talking on the beach there. So it's a really beautiful spot and a lot of different variety of homes to choose from.
Perfect. And so what you guys have done along with Kent is divide the property into phases, and you're going to develop the property within phases. So what we have available for you today is in phase 1, and you'll see here on the map, we've kind of blown it up a little bit more and outlined what that phase looks like. We do have already an excited homeowner on the line with us today. And just something I want to note here as we do get into the home models, we do have a lot of people looking at this as an investment opportunity. There are a limited number of homes that will be able to sell at these discounted prices. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this presentation with us today. If there's a home site and a model that really catches your eye, make sure to reach out to us and we'll take you through what those next steps are to reserve your home.
Yeah, exactly. I expect you'll see about 5 more of those marked as sold pretty soon. We're kind of in negotiations right now. And the developer has made it very clear to us over the last few days that, we were able to convince them that these prices are we'd like to come out with some really special pricing for this webinar, and they allowed us to do that, but I don't think it's going to last very long. So if you are interested, in not to put any pressure on anybody, but those prices will go up. And, I guess if you are one of the people that own there now or very soon, you'll get that kind of automatic capital gain that happens when all the rest of the prices around you go up.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get into the home models here, but I want to frame out what this community really looks like and what its location is. I was shocked, when I first saw the property and saw actually truly how close it is to the water, to the beach. You can hear the waves, and just, I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but extremely spectacular sunsets. So
I took that picture just a few days ago.
It's incredible. It's not a stock photo. Yeah.
It's not a stock photo. I can't believe I took that.
All right. Let me know if you guys have any trouble hearing or seeing. Just drop it in the Q&A. Otherwise, we'll hit play. So did you guys catch Patrick and Kent there having their music circle? That was kind of fun to see. But so what you guys saw in that video was a couple of different elements. It started out at the Sea Salt restaurant there at the Las Perlas Oceanfront Village, where the infinity pool is currently already there. It's available as an owner at Playa Pacifica as part of your amenities. But then towards the end, you saw the actual views from the Playa Pacifica property. So absolutely stunning. I know Kelly said it was so beautiful. And it is, it's quite astonishing. And when you guys were there, you said the sunsets were there were no two sunsets that were alike, which I think is really neat.
That is one of the kind of the classic claims to fame of this area, is that, sit out there and watch the sunsets, and each one is different. And you take a picture 10 minutes later and it's lit up the sky completely differently again. So we generally tend to have a lot of photography contests while we're having our glass of wine.
Every 5 minutes people stand up again because the colors change. So it gets more spectacular every time.
I love it. And something else I wanted to note in the video was we saw one of the chefs from Sea Salt with you, Andrea, making a traditional Nicaraguan dish. You're going to have to say it for me. I can't pronounce it correctly. So
it's called bigoron.
Bigoron. See, I can't. You make that sound much prettier than me. But you did actually a cooking lesson with him on how to make that. And pretty soon, here in a couple of days or so, we'll have that actually up on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go and find us on our YouTube channel at EcoVillages.life. But something we've talked about before, and I promise you homes are coming on the next slide, but I wanted to mention to you the solar systems, the hybrid solar systems that come with these homes. Hybrid solar is included. So Patrick, talk to us a little bit about that system and what the goal is for having these hybrid solar systems in these homes.
Well, EcoVillages, like I said, is all about being, as sustainable as possible with your self-sustaining kind of lifestyle. So these systems are a bit smaller than a lot of systems. So they're hybrid with the grid power and the solar system. your home will use the solar system as long as it can. And if it, if you're having a party or something, or whatever you're doing, welding, whatever you're doing that uses a lot of power, then it'll switch over to the grid with automatically. You don't even notice it happening. But what it does, and what we really really promote at EcoVillages, is it has to be a financial benefit as well as a kind of a feel-good benefit when you're doing these green technologies. So it really cuts down on your power bill. One of the cost of living in Nicaragua is one of the lowest in all the Americas, but unfortunately electricity is pretty expensive. And so having the solar system really cuts down a lot on the cost of power. And of course it's a good thing. And you can expand these systems. In this picture, it's kind of a stock photo. It's not really one of our systems, but in our systems, we always hide them. Well, because you're close to the equator down here as well, the panels are really almost lying flat. And so we tend to build certain designs in our homes to where the panels are going to be housed on the rooftop. And so you can't see them from the sidewalk or anything. So it really just gives a better curb appeal to the homes and doesn't bother anybody with reflections or anything. But meanwhile, you can't even tell that they're solar powered homes. The only way you can tell is that you have like very little or no power bill. So that's really the nice feature of the solar systems.
Right. And so on this rendering here we have of one of the home models here, you don't see the solar panels. So just know that they're there, but they're very craftily hidden to maintain the aesthetic of the community. So let's jump into the home models here. Andrea, you're going to tell us about the 2 tiny home models that folks on the line here have to choose from to meet whatever their ownership goals are. So go ahead, tell us about this first tiny home option.
Thank you, Ali. So we have 2 tiny home models in Playa Pacifica. As Patrick was mentioning, all the names of the homes are after Spanish colonial horses. This one is named the Galician. It's like it goes with the house because the Galician is a small horse from Galicia. So it's like a pony. So this is like the smaller home here. It is like a studio type of home, a studio suite type of home. You would have 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, your kitchen, living room, and dining room, and then you would have the access to a beautiful terrace. As you can see, the renderings is gorgeous. It's a tiny home, but it's so beautiful. It's not like a typical tiny home that is on wheels, but you would own the land, you would own the house. It's a concrete whole house, very strong. So in the bedroom, you can see that you have a queen bed, and the particularity of this is that the queen bed is on top of a platform, and you would have drawers under the bed. Many people sometimes want to have space to put their things, and not only sometimes the closet is not enough. So you have your closet and also these drawers. And if you're planning to rent out your house, there's also a lock-out closet to put your things there, so your guests are not gonna touch any of those. Also, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one thing. I get asked this a lot, so I just want to throw it in, because EcoVillages has sort of become known for tiny house designs, and that's not all we do. We do estate homes, we do condominiums, we do mid-sized homes, all sorts of different things. But the popularity of tiny homes in this climate has become so high that we're selling a lot of tiny homes, and that's partly because the outdoor space becomes your part of your living space as well, right? And I think that's just a key thing to mention, that people think, oh, I can't live in something that small. It's like, well, you'd be surprised, because you really are only using the bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen. And realistically, even the kitchen can be outdoors as well, which is kind of nice because it keeps the heat of cooking outside as well. In fact, you'll see on some of these models that we have a little kind of outdoor food prep area, right? Yeah. So that's been put into the designs on purpose, so that you really end up spending very little time inside your home. I even like, with the homes that we have down there, I like to, watch TV or the Super Bowl or something like that outside. I don't, why be inside when it's so nice outside all the time?
Yeah, so that's why you see that the living space where the living room is, there is a sliding door, a glass sliding door there. So you have a great view, and they design them with really big windows as well. So you see in the kitchen, there's also a window. So everything feels open and really well ventilated. So the house is really comfortable to be inside. And another thing that we love about Playa Pacifica and that we like about the developer is that he likes to do things the best quality. Like the countertops are granite, polished granite. The cabinets are also man-made, and really they're going to have like a really good long-lasting. The ceramics in the floor are also tiles of ceramics. So everything is going to be beautifully made. It's not going to be just something to try to make it more economical that, okay, just give you this house. It's going to be really, you're going to have really high quality in everything that you get. You're also going to get a washer and a dryer, a gas dryer, so you don't have to waste on power. And also even the ACs, I know that they're going to be high SEER rated split.
Yeah, very,
ACs.
very efficient appliances, whether it's your fridge, stove, and air conditioner, or whatever it is. So like you said, the developer is all about building in the best quality. And, you know, in the end, you know, it's so worth it when you do that.
Yeah. So the next tiny home is the Locino. I forgot to mention the price in the Galician is 139,900, and the size is 538 square feet. You see, it's the 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The next one, the Locino, is also another small horse, a little bit bigger than the Galician. As you can see, this one is bigger. 579 square feet. It has 2 bedrooms. So you have your master bedroom. This is a king size bed. It has also this closet. It has its bathroom. And you have the other bedroom that could be a guest bedroom. You can have a bunk bed if you want to bring, you know, family, or you want to have guests. Also, if you want to rent it and have more people renting it, you can have the bunk bed, but also you have the choice to make it an office or an art studio, or even put a sofa bed, however you would like to make that other space that we have there. And the same layout, you know, you have the living, the dining, and the kitchen with the sliding doors, and the terrace that is exterior with the barbecue area, and beautiful views that you're going to get, because the landscape of Playa Pacifica is also going to be gorgeous, and the ocean, of course, nothing better than that.
Nothing better than that. So quickly going back to the map here, you will see that either one of those tiny homes, either the Galician or the Locino model, can go on any of the home lots that are labeled with a T. So you'll see you have quite a few different options to choose from, depending on whether you want to be closer to the pool or the clubhouse and restaurant. I know personally I am a foodie, so I would probably want to be close to the restaurant, but there's really no bad choice here. There really isn't. The difference is not much between you know, this first 3 here and these up here. It's just a difference of what, Patrick, 10 or 15 steps. But yeah, so
goes to the parking or something like that, you know.
Right. So it all
There's no
depends
bad
on.
spot. They all have, you know, great views too, and like you can see, I mean, whether it takes you 20 seconds or 23 seconds to get to the beach is not really a big deal.
Yeah.
Yep. So just keep that in mind. If you are, you know, if you have a lot that you have your eye on, let us know, and you can get one of these nice shiny red reserved stamps on your home lot. So moving into the 2 larger model homes, like Patrick, you mentioned, you know, tiny homes is kind of where you guys started, coming right off the sailboat and moving that kind of living onto land. But you really have been able to design larger homes. For example, this one is just over 1,200 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, to accommodate the larger families or vacationers that want a larger home. And something I love about the Pasofino here is the kitchen. Again, I am a foodie. We cook probably every night. So having a kitchen with an island where others can sit and help you prep, right, Andrea? You have to come over and help us prep when you come have dinner. But just everything is so open and well thought out as far as the flow from inside to outside. You know, create your masterpiece, culinary masterpiece indoors, and take it out to the patio where you have your outdoor area. Invite your neighbors over, have a barbecue. Again, you have the standard lockout closets for the owners, where you can store your surfboards and your favorite linens. Maybe you bring a special toaster down with you, but great access to the whole house with a little bit of privacy in your bedrooms, but a lot of open area living space. So if you are interested in something a little larger, this might be a great option for you.
You must be a foodie if you have a special toaster.
I do, actually, but we're not going to talk about it. And of course, the fourth home model that we have for you today is the Andalusian. The Andalusian is the largest of the four homes at just about 1,400 square feet. But look at the exterior space. You almost equal your exterior space, your outdoor living space, with your interior space. And like it was mentioned earlier, most of your time is probably going to be spent outdoors, whether it's out on the beach, at any of the other amenities, maybe it's horseback riding during the day. You have this great outdoor space to retreat to at the end of the night, to have your photo I don't know what y'all called it, but photo
contest
competitions for sunset or whatever it is that you want to do. But incredible, beautiful home looking out right at the beach, right in front. I mean, it's a stone's throw away, essentially. So if we're looking at the map here again, you of course have your tiny homes up here where you have V4, V5, and V6. Those are your Paso Finos. Those are your 2-bedroom, 2-bath homes. And then your F1, 2, and 3, those are your Andalusian models, your 3-bedroom homes. So you can see that although there are some really great options out there for you, they're all going to be able to fit whatever it is that you have in mind as far as your home ownership goes.
Elliot, just one thing, if you can go back to the Andalusian just for a second, there's just two things that I kind of wanted to point out on it that I really enjoyed when we were designing it. And one is, you'd mentioned being a foodie and cooking a lot. This one is really great for that because you have the big kitchen area, but you also can see everybody on whether they're on the deck or inside in the living space. Because nowadays, whenever you're cooking, it's kind of like a gathering, right? Like when I was growing up, somebody would go in the kitchen and cook, and everybody else would be out visiting. But now the kitchen becomes the center of chatting while you're preparing food. So that we take that into consideration a lot when we're designing the homes. But this one is one of the rare ones where we were able to create all 3 bedrooms with pretty much equal stunning views of the beach. You're right beside the beach, and they all have big glass doors in front of them, so you can wake up in the morning and just look out at the waves crashing on the beach. And there's no bad bedroom. There's no bedroom at the back of the house or something that doesn't have that view. And it's surprisingly challenging to get all the features that you want into one design. But I really love that about the Andalusian.
Yeah, right. And if you take a look at the left of the screen, you can see all of those sliding doors that essentially are across the back of your home. So, well, actually, the back side, beachfront side of your home. Okay, so current amenities. In the video, you guys saw the golf cart ride through a couple of different neighborhoods within Gran Pacifica on the way to Playa Pacifica. So there are already over 200 homes that are built that have owners, they have vacationers, renters. So this really is you're coming home to a community. You're coming home to people that are going to be excited to see you. You're basically going to just slide right into this place, this oasis, where you have access to all kinds of different people, but that have the same kind of like-mindedness that you do. They all have different stories on what brought them to Playa Pacifica, to Gran Pacifica. But that's what's exciting, because you will have these places to go to together, to congregate and talk about those life stories. That's always been one of my favorite parts about meeting new people down in this part of the world, is getting to know what their journey was in getting there and hearing those different stories. So that was just kind of a basic overview, but here's some really specific list of amenities that are there at Gran Pacifica that are there. They're already in place. They're ready for you to start enjoying the minute that you set your suitcase down. Golf, there is a beautiful golf course on site. You can horseback ride down the beach if that's your thing. We mentioned surfing. But one of the bigger, obviously, congregation points, like you mentioned, is food, the restaurant. Sea Salt is there. It's open and operating for how long now, Patrick?
Over a decade, I guess. It's a beautiful spot. It's very popular. And great food, great fish and steak kind of restaurant.
And the staff is amazing too, very friendly. You can see some of them, 2 chefs that we have in the restaurant there doing a buffet. They're really, really nice.
And one of the big, sorry, one of the big draws to Gran Pacifica and to Sea Salt is the incredible views, the incredible backdrop that it allows for special events like weddings and birthday parties and things like that. So you almost have this built-in client list of people that are coming to rent. So if you're looking at putting your home into an investor rental program, there's already people that are coming to this location for things like weddings and special events and birthday parties, besides just vacationing and surfing and things like that. Another feature there is the yoga palapas. There are several yoga palapas on site that you saw in the video. There's a larger one that hosts yoga retreats and things like that. So all different kinds of events that happen on site that are drawing people to Gran Pacifica. And of course, the tennis court, if you're a tennis person. I've actually never played tennis on a grass court, so that would be definitely something that I do here in the near future. Frisbee golf has become super popular lately. Have you guys gotten the pickleball set up there yet, Patrick?
I believe they've got the tennis court set up so you can play pickleball on it as well.
Perfect. I know that's a huge thing right now. Something else I'm not quite caught up with, but looking forward to learning it soon.
I also wanted to mention that picture of the sunset, that's mine. So that was Patrick and I having a contest.
The competition is apparently going during the webinar.
So yeah, and if you guys want to drop in the Q&A section which one was better, which one you liked, we'll tally those results. We'll tally those results at the end. And so just for confirmation, Andrea, this picture has no filter on it.
No filter at all. Patrick sometimes edits his pictures too much.
Wow, now we're really getting competitive. But if you guys have done due diligence in this part of the world and really any other part of the world, you know that it's not always necessarily a given that you are going to own the land that your home sits on. Especially right now in the United States, a lot of the tiny homes are on wheels. You don't own the land that your home is on unless you choose to purchase your land. So Patrick, talk to us a little bit about that as far as, owning in Mexico versus owning, here in Panama and other places around the world, and why this is such a huge benefit for people that choose to own it at Playa Pacifica.
Yeah, you mentioned the tiny homes, and it's pretty rare to, you can buy a lot and then build your tiny home on it, but typically it's not kind of all in one package. So you'll see in a couple slides, we do a little bit of a comparison as well. But one of the reasons that I chose Nicaragua as the first country down here to move to and become a resident of was because there was exactly the same ownership of property laws for a foreigner as there was for locals. That's not the case in many countries. Mexico, for instance, you need to, if you're within a certain distance of the border or the beach, you have to have a trust set up and have other ownership within it. It gets kind of complicated. There's a lot of countries in the region that have just leased land, so you could buy. In fact, I talked to a guy last week that thought he bought a home on a freehold titled piece of property, but it turned out it was a title, but it was a lease title, and so it only had a certain number of years left in it. So you got to be careful with that stuff. But with the Playa Pacifica property or any of the properties within Gran Pacifica, you own, just like you do in the US or Canada or Europe or Australia, a freehold deed title to that land. So sometimes when you're comparing prices, for instance, like $139,000 for a tiny home, you might be thinking, well, that's not that much of a better deal than I could get even in the US or something. But then put that add to that a beachfront property that tiny home is sitting on, and see now where your price comes in.
Gated community with amenities.
In a gated community, a home made out of concrete and with high quality appliances and all the finishings and everything. So you really, you'll see that in a couple slides. So I'll be done with that in a second.
No, that's okay. But what's important here is that on this next slide, we're talking about the aspect from the standpoint of an investor, either from the aspect of, having that monthly return on your investment, or even a capital gain, and the owning the land plays a part in that. So tell us a little bit about this anticipated ROI. This is specifically on the Locino model. So for those of you on the line with us interested in the tiny home, the Locino model is the 2-bedroom model. So a little bit here, I don't expect you to be able to read it. We do have these performers for each home model that we'll be happy to go through line item by line item with you. But one of the big things, and the reason why we mentioned owning the land, is that capital gain. So Patrick, I know we talk about the investment curve a lot in our presentations, but the capital gain is something that should really be on people's radar. And why is that?
Yeah, and just before answering that, Andrea and I are lucky enough to have a few homes in different countries, and we do that because of this exact thing. It's an investment for us as well, right? Where when we're not using the home, we can rent it out, and we have a home here now in Panama, our home in Nicaragua, a home in Honduras, and so we can go to the Pacific Ocean, to the Caribbean side, and have different kind of areas of highlands in Panama, and basically when we're not in them, we can rent them out, and potentially the ones that are renting out pay for the one that you're in. So it's kind of a nice way, and then of course they're all gaining in value as we go along. Now this ROI sheet, like you said, we won't go through all the details now, but I do want to mention that this was based on on actuals that we experienced in other rental homes of ours in Gran Pacifica, near the Playa Pacifica community. So you can go through the details and see what your expenses are likely to be, what your revenue is likely to be on kind of an average case, and then kind of a worst case or conservative case. And you'll see that the rough estimate, there's no guarantees, but this is an estimated ROI from rentals. And then at the bottom line of the sheet there, you can see this is what we've been experiencing, conservatively a 12%-ish kind of capital gain per year. And that's kind of what in some communities a little bit more, in some communities a little bit less. That's what the prices have sort of been changing at over the last, especially since COVID hit. And Nicaragua was one of the countries that was very freedom oriented, didn't have mandates, didn't demand vaccines and all those sorts of things, didn't make you wear a mask, didn't shut down their economy, and that was attractive to a lot of people. And all of a sudden we had a huge exodus from other countries and an influx into Nicaragua. So we saw maybe 20-30 times the number of people moving into the country than we'd seen prior to COVID. So obviously I would say these numbers are very conservative, because also if you were to buy a home now, we all know inflation's going up, and the cost of materials are going up, and that's going to drive the cost of the homes up. So it's hard to predict what these homes that we're talking about today will be worth in a year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite a bit more than they are today. So we don't want to guarantee anything on capital gains or even on the rental return, but we want to give you an idea of what you can expect. And like I said, this isn't just pulled out of the sky. This is based on what we've experienced with our own rentals.
Yeah, perfect. So again, if you guys want to go through your specific scenario with us, with your specific home model, we're happy to do that with you. Just let us know, and we'll schedule that meeting with you as you're available. So we did allude to this a little bit about the value comparison of actually owning the lot, owning or having the solar hybrid feature already built in and included in this home. So it's broken down for you here on the screen, but being from North America, I can say that, for example, your land, just land in a gated community that is your land, you own it, you have the title. I mean, look at the starting price there. That's not even necessarily, I'm not sure where we pulled this from. I know we have a tiny home in USA, but I can't remember now where Spencer got those figures from. Spencer, if you want to drop that in the Q&A, I'll share with you guys. But Patrick, run us through kind of the comparison here of what the actual value is of these homes here in Playa Pacifica versus other homes around the North American region.
Yeah, and I'll actually start from the bottom up. Like, as you can see on the Lucino home in Playa Pacifica, everything's included in that price. And when you're talking about a tiny home, people don't really think about things like the foundation or the service hookups and things like that. They think, well, I can buy this tiny home for $100,000 or less, and then, but it's either on wheels or you have to pay for your foundation to put it on, and then you have to get all those things hooked up. And so we did some just comparisons, and can't remember if this was California or Florida, but I think it was.
It was Florida. So Spencer commented, he said it was in Florida, one of the cheapest options that he could actually find that was beachfront.
Yeah, so, and, obviously if you wanted to put, your home on a property on the beach in California, for instance, you would be looking at more than $500,000 for sure. But yeah, the solar system's included, and obviously if you have to buy a separate solar system, they're not cheap necessarily, certainly if you do really good ones like we do. And then ultimately just the land itself, the fact that it's part of the deal. This is your kind of all-inclusive price. I mean, you buy some furniture and things like that, but realistically, your home with your titled lot, and you own everything. It's hooked up to the community water, the community sewer system, which is a new state-of-the-art system at Gran Pacifica. All those hookups, obviously the power that is a hybrid system with your solar system, and it's all on concrete foundation. These homes, these homes are all built to California earthquake standards, so they're very well built. And so we just wanted to kind of throw a slide on like this that shows a little bit more apples to apples comparison. And I think we're probably a little low. I mean, obviously the tiny home in the US is actually smaller, 1 bedroom, but smaller than the Lucino 2-bedroom home. But trying to find an inexpensive one in the US to compare, so people can see that, it might feel like $150,000 for a tiny home is expensive, but it includes so much that it's really a great deal.
Right. And then of course throw in some great neighbors like you guys, and that just becomes priceless. You can't even compare.
Exactly. There should be a premium. Get another green circle in there. Patrick, Andrea's neighbors included.
It could be a deterrent, but no, they love you guys.
You can join the band, exactly.
Yeah. So if you guys are just ready to take the next step, you want to talk more to us one-on-one, we are happy to do so. We can meet with you via Zoom. We can share screens. If you'd like to have myself, Patrick, Andrea, all three of us on a call with you to just talk about the community, talk about the homes more specifically, we are happy to do that. If you have joined us in past webinars and you are really excited about this, you're excited about the discounts that are being offered on these homes, and you're ready to choose your home site, you're ready to choose your model, reach out to us. Questions at EcoVillages.life. You'll actually get an email from Zoom following the webinar with the recording in it and some other fun videos that we've got in store for you guys. You can reply directly to that email. It'll come to you probably late tomorrow afternoon. Reply to that email. Let us know that you're ready to reserve your home. What does that look like? So reserving your home, it's a 2-page form that you fill out. The first page is standard buyer information, owner information. You tell us what home model you're interested in, whether it's the Andalusian, one of the tiny homes, or the Paso Fino. You get to choose your home lot. The second page is how you would like to pay for the reservation. The reservation is $2,500, but it is refundable minus any kind of service fee, 10% service fee, to be able to process the payment and then refund the money if needed. So $2,500, and you get that little red stamp on the map for your home lot that you choose, whatever that is for you. Again, Patrick mentioned that we do have some other folks that are looking at purchasing multiple homes in one shot. So if this is something that's weighing heavy on you and you're excited to take the next step, I would definitely get in touch sooner rather than later. After we get that reservation form, you'll get in touch with our finance director. His name is Juan. He'll process that payment for you. He'll send you your receipt. You and me and Andrea and Patrick and whoever it is that you want to speak to will be in constant communication with you. We're looped into all of the emails. We'll be there to answer your questions. So you reserve the home, and then what we do is we actually prepare your ownership documents. So we will prepare everything that you need to know before moving forward with your home ownership. You'll get to see the sales agreement, the HOA agreement, the standard features, the actual floor plans, all of that you get to sign off of and review for 10 business days. 10 business days to review those documents. Of course, ask any questions, any clarification that you need. We're just an email or a phone call away. If you prefer WhatsApp or Telegram or any of those other platforms, we are very flexible. So just let us know what that is that you prefer. And then once you are ready to move forward, we will be excited to let Kent know that you're joining the Playa Pacifica community, and we can move forward with getting your home permitted and breaking ground. So those are the next steps. Either you can reach out to us directly after this webinar. Here is the email address, questions@ecovillages.life. If you'd like for us to send you that reservation form, let us know, and we can walk you through the next steps on a one-by-one basis. But good as gold. I see that we are just at the 1 hour and 1 minute mark.
Wow.
So we did very well. I think, Julie said, oh, Julie, you can't say it's a draw. That's not fair.
I think that just being nice, I think I won.
Well, I mean,
Because you edited it.
We do have some questions coming in right now, guys. It's a great time for you to drop your questions into that Q&A section if you have any that you want us to answer right now. Of course, again, if you would prefer to talk one-on-one, just reach out to that questions@ecovillages.life, and we'll be happy to sit with you and chat a little bit more. Can I pay with Bitcoin?
Yes, you can.
Are there any other cryptocurrencies that we accept as a form of payment, either for reservation or to fund your home?
We'll accept almost any of the major coins. We're happy to do that. We're big crypto fans, and we do a lot of sales with various forms of crypto. So we're absolutely happy to take your payment in crypto, and it's a nice way right now to diversify a little bit. And cryptos, Bitcoin, all the cryptos are kind of fluctuating a little bit within a range right now, and it's really, I think, a good time to use some of that and get another asset and a little diversified.
Perfect. I'm sorry, just kind of clicked off something there. Roughly how many people reside in Gran Pacifica? Great question.
I don't know. It's growing very quickly right now. There's more homes being built there than I've ever seen at one time before. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. There's almost 100 homes being built as we speak. Or maybe over 100 at this point. But it's a little bit seasonal. A lot of people obviously love the weather. If you're from Idaho or something, you're going to come down for the winters. From Christmas to May or so, and that's what we call the dry season. In fact, we used to with the hotel at Gran Pacifica, we used to guarantee people, if you came like January, February, March, whatever, if it rained, we'll give you your money back, because they would be like, well, I went to Hawaii last year and it rained the whole time I was there. It kind of ruined my holiday. It's like, well, that won't happen here during those months. It's very distinct dry season and green season. And I actually prefer the green season because it makes everything so lush. There's flowers and, everything's blooming and butterflies everywhere. And so it rains. When it rains mostly at night. Sometimes you get kind of a 30-minute afternoon shower and it, refreshes everything again. But both are great. But if you really like not having any rain, and I moved down from Vancouver Island, which is kind of the same climate as Seattle, so I was kind of tired of the rain. So it's kind of nice to come down and spend months where you know it's just not going to rain.
Yeah, perfect. Michael. Hey, Michael, another surfer here on the line with us, by the way. He'd like to know, can he come rent a home to see what he thinks, to get a feel for the community?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the rentals are pretty busy right now. I mean, that's a good thing for if you own a home and you're renting it out. There's a lot of people moving to this community, and the homes that are on the rental market, a lot of them have been kind of snatched up for long-term rentals for people. As you know, as they're, sometimes they're waiting for their home to get completed or whatever it is. But there's a condominium building that's brand new now called the Momo Tombo, that actually we designed it, and I think it's very beautiful. And it's got studio rooms that are connected, so if you want to have multiple rooms, you can. And so yeah, in fact, I'd recommend it. To me, the whole Playa Pacifica and the Gran Pacifica communities just sells itself. But if people come down and see it and enjoy a few days there, they almost always decide to become owners.
Perfect. So, Michael, just get in touch with us. We can put you in contact with the right people there to be able to find out what their availability is. Let us know what you're thinking as far as timeline and travel dates and things like that, and we'll be happy to help you with that. A question here from Francine, and a lot of times when we're hosting these webinars, they're fun and lighthearted, and we're just really excited to share these communities with you. But there are realities about each country in this part of the region and really all around the world. Each country has their own kind of thing, right? So Francine's asking, what about Nicaragua being the poorest of Central America? Any thought on that versus Panama and other countries?
Well, I always get asked which country I like the best in Latin America, and I don't have an answer. I like all of them for various reasons. And they're different reasons. Yeah, Nicaragua is the second poorest actually country in the Americas, next to Haiti. But unlike a lot of poor countries, it has extremely low crime. And people are just generally very happy. If they do a happiness meter or rating every year, and Nicaragua is always like in the top 3 in the world kind of thing. So the people are very happy, very friendly. The beauty of a country like that with the kind of climate it has, and everything grows. You've got kind of volcanic, nitrogen-rich soil and a lot of good growing areas. So, if you can grow bananas and mangoes and go fishing and catch fish and whatever it is that you want to eat, sometimes the money doesn't mean as much, right? You're not afraid that you're not going to survive, and and it's just not a very materialistic culture where everybody wants to have the best car or whatever. It's just they enjoy life, they laugh a lot. There's a lot of camaraderie between any whether somebody's very affluent or not at all, and it's just yes, it's poor, but that I think that makes it really endearing. It's one of the reasons that I really like it. And my kids as they were growing up, my daughters would drive around in the truck on their own and go places all over by themselves. And if they had a flat tire, somebody would come out of the community or village to help them fix the tire. And I always felt that everybody was very safe. I mean, I don't want to be naive. There's got to be careful in any community, but I'd certainly rather be in Managua at night than in St. Louis or something in the U.S. So it's poor, but it's certainly a very endearing and alluring place. And Panama is quite different in that terms. Panama City is a hub city, a banking city, quite different in terms of different types of jobs that are available in a place like this. Now Panama's got a range, so you get outside of the city and you get into villages, and you get much more like Nicaragua that way. You get more simpler lives and things like that. But if you're not sure of which country, I mean, I would certainly take the time if you can to visit a few different countries. We spend a lot of time in Belize, we spend a lot of time in Honduras and Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, El Salvador, all over the place. But I like them all. So I don't know if I answered the question or not. But.
Yeah, I would also add that what I like also about the community that we are in is that many people that live nearby the towns work in Gran Pacifica, and the people from, for example, from the restaurants. So there's lots of jobs that are provided within the community. And also we have a foundation and there is a Rotary Club. So if you're also interested in helping the villagers nearby, you can go and you meet them all, and they're like lovely people. We have done so many missions, medical, dental missions. We go to schools. The foundation also has built schools, because there was a school that was like almost destroyed, the ceiling, and what we did was do that, you know, build it, fix it. So you get to know everybody that is around that community and help them as well as you can. Every year we give backpacks, you know, the Rotary Club does all that, and we're sometimes with our foundation. And everybody in the community wants to volunteer and help, even when we bring people from other countries and people that come and visit every year and want to do these missions. The residents from the community within also want to volunteer and help. And it's like everybody's welcome. And it's great to meet everybody, all these families, all these children. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, and I often get asked too, you know, will I meet any friends? And Andrea and I kind of joke about it. It's like, we have too many friends. I mean, it's just, it's so easy to meet people in these communities. And then, like you said, you get involved in our foundation's called Help Them Help Themselves. And we do, I know even Kent, the developer, he teaches guitar lessons in the village schools and things like that. So you can get involved to whatever level you want, you know, and you'll have more friends than you want, and you'll get to meet a lot of local people. So I think that's a big part of the community.
I don't want to cut you off. I do want to just remind everybody, we're going to keep answering questions as long as we have them coming in. But I just want to remind everybody that we will send you the full recording of the presentation. So if you do have to jump off and have other things to attend to, please feel free to do so. Just make sure to take a look late tomorrow afternoon, early evening, or even Friday morning. Take a look in your inbox, make sure that recording got delivered to you. Sometimes we end up in spam, so take a quick peek through your spam box if you're expecting something from us and don't see it sitting there and waiting for you. But again, we have a few more questions here, so I think we can go ahead and answer them. What are some fun things to do around the community, like within an hour or so from Playa Pacifica, Gran Pacifica?
Well, one of the nice things about, like I said earlier, about this location is you're kind of central to Leon, Managua, and Granada in terms of city. So there's lots of city type things to do. I mean, like I said, I really like Granada, especially, and Leon as well. Obviously, you're close to a lot of beaches, but you know, we like I said the other day, we just went to Granada for the afternoon and hung out there and did things. But you know, there's all sorts of. I mean, if you're a real adrenaline kind of person, then there's volcano boarding, and which is what it sounds like. It's basically like surfing down a volcano, and zip lines and all sorts of those sorts of things, like typical tourist things to do. But we're a little bit less. We like to adventure, we like to explore, but more on like see new things and go find waterfalls or
no volcano boarding.
Not volcano boarding.
But some people love that.
But there is a lot of things to do, and we like to just sort of drive in a different direction, take a different road, check out different things, and just see where we end up. We usually end up stopping at some different restaurant every time and see, well, what is it, good or bad? And so it's a lot of different places. The lagoons, the volcanic lagoons are beautiful. You can go swimming in freshwater 600-foot deep lagoon just a little ways away. And in fact, there are some kind of hidden gems right around Playa Pacifica that not too many people know about in terms of little lakes to swim in and things. So there's great fishing. Obviously the ocean fishing right there. It's, some of the countries like Costa Rica, it's a little bit more fished out because it's been popular for fishermen all their for decades. Nicaragua hasn't been. So I just saw one of our residents, Kelly, caught a rooster fish yesterday.
That was amazing.
Those put up a huge fight, and catch and release, they're a bit of a rare fish, but we've caught them. I know my son Spencer and I caught one a couple of years back that took both of us, played out both of us bringing it in, but it was a lot of fun. So you can catch that kind of stuff right off the shore. You don't even need to go out on a boat. So, different things to do.
So really what you're saying is, just kind of to bring the circle together, is you can really be as adventurous as you want to be, or you could be as beach bummy as you want to be when you own one of these homes and get to call it home, and you can go out and do all the adventure stuff in the jungles and the fishing and all of that, and then come back home and really relax. And speaking of Spencer, he said some of his best friends are Nicaraguan. Lots of late nights with maybe too many Tonias. You have to tell us what a Tonia is. I'm assuming it's a drink of some sort, but
Tonia is the local or the main national beer. There's Victoria and a few other ones, but Tonia's. Yeah, I'm not really a beer drinker, but I actually like Tonias.
Yeah.
I actually had a parrot, a rescue parrot at Playa Pacifica, and I named her Tonia. Eventually, she grew her feathers back and took off with her buddies, but it was good.
He's still waiting for her.
I still wait there for her to come home, but it's not happened yet.
I love it. Let's see. Always wanted to get into surfing. The water sounds great, but is the easier beach appropriate for someone who has never surfed before?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's appropriate for. The Asachio Beach, if you're into surfing, you know it as an A-frame, which means you get waves coming at from both directions. So you could be left-footed or right-footed, like goofy, I guess is the old term for left-footed, but and it's a sand bottom, like for miles, so like if you surf like me, which I've only been a couple times in my life, I hit the bottom pretty hard sometimes, and fortunately that's a pretty soft bottom. It's sand, and Andrea and I actually like to boogie board at Asachio more than things like surfing. It's a little bit gentler on my old body.
Yeah, I don't have balance, so I'd rather be laying down.
But it's a great place. There's areas well, there's a river that comes in there and it builds up the sand, so that's why you get the different kind of waves coming in. But it also helps to make for really protected areas for swimming. So you have very calm areas, you have small waves, you have bigger waves, and a soft area there. And then when you get to be an expert surfer, you can move over to the meat grinder reef break, and that's basically a volcanic rock that has barnacles that have grown on it, which is why it's called the meat grinder. If you wipe out on that one, it can be painful, but that's only for expert surfers.
Like the name implies. And also, there are people there at Playa Pacifica, at Gran Pacifica, that will help you learn and give you some lessons. So how many restaurants and bars are in Gran Pacifica?
Well, right now, there's really the Sea Salt restaurant is the main center with the restaurant and bar. There's on top of that new Momotombo condo building I mentioned, there's another bar on the rooftop, which is 3 floors above, so you get a really nice panoramic view. Playa Pacifica is going to have its own restaurant. There's another building that's going to go up shortly with a third or fourth restaurant. And then I know in the Ava Bella community, which is a little further down the beach, is going to be another restaurant. And then one of the residents of Gran Pacifica just opened a new restaurant just outside the gates of Gran Pacifica. So you literally, I don't know, 100 yards from the gate. They've got a restaurant and a grocery store, which is really nice to have the grocery store right beside the community as well. So, and it's a small store, but we went there the other day and we got everything we needed. And, I made a bet with Andrea. I said, if they have this special coffee mate creamer that I like, then that's a good grocery store. And I was amazed they actually had it. So.
Yeah, and they listen, because if somebody in any resident says, oh, I want to buy, one of our residents was like, I want this type of coffee. They're like, okay, we're going to get it, because they know they're going to go and buy it. So they're residents there, and they try to get what the residents need too. So.
And there's these, I don't know if people know what WhatsApp is. If you're in Latin America, you'll learn very quickly. It's just a messaging service, but there's resident WhatsApp groups too. So they'll say, oh, my dog's finicky. I need this certain kind of dog food, and they bring it in so that you don't have to go. Although, Andrea and I have mentioned this before too. We really like going to San Rafael del Sur, which is a town very close by. There's another town called Masachapa. They have typical outdoor Latin American markets, and you can buy everything from tomatoes and guava to bicycles, right? I mean, everything in the market, right? But the prices are so low, it's amazing. We fill up these big burlap sacks that come up to your hip with vegetables and fruit, and it would just be like, I don't know, at that time, couple of years ago, it was $5 or something, right? And so maybe it's 10 now, but it's weeks worth of food for us. And, so you can really, between that and the orchards and gardens that are even within the Gran Pacifica Resort, there's lots of mango trees and banana trees and papaya. And so you really can be very self-sustaining and live for very economically on the food side.
Awesome. Okay, so we have, I would say one more question, but it's actually like 6 questions in one question. So I'm gonna go line by line here. So parking. How is the parking situation? How many vehicles? Is it Jeep, golf cart, truck? What kind of parking can we anticipate to see?
It's a mix. I mean, we try to build our communities so there is community interaction among people. And Spencer and I, when we design these communities, we talk about it a lot. In North America, you drive into your driveway, you open your garage door, you drive into your garage, you walk into your house, you never see your neighbors, you never talk to anybody. And that's not really the kind of communities that we wanted to have with our kind of like-minded people that get along, right? And so we've actually separated the parking from the homes, and a lot of times, and they're and left the places more open. There's not 8-foot high fences around all the yards or anything like that. It's just a much more open design. And they do have golf cart parking in front of the home, but typically there's plenty of parking, so there you can have a couple cars or whatever in the parking lot. But the parking lots are designed also to be very close to your home, so you don't have a long walk or anything like that. But it's not, it's also to keep the aesthetic of the community prettier, right? You don't have cars parked in front of every home. It's just, you get to see the beauty of the homes, the ocean, nothing's really blocking views and things like that.
Perfect. Okay. Storage for boards and bikes. I know we mentioned the owner lockout closets there within each home model. But as far as bikes, I mean, are there going to be any kind of storage solutions on site, storage sheds and things like that are available?
I mean, you can put a small storage shed on your property if you'd like to. We want to see you keep it as kind of in the aesthetic of the rest of the buildings. We did build in the lock-off storage for that reason. But if it's something larger than that, there is, the same resident that has created the new restaurant and grocery store is building storage units as well. So, and there's Gran Pacifica is also going to be putting in storage units in the community as well. So there are options if you have the need for a lot more stuff to store than just a smaller cabinet, basically.
Perfect. And I know you mentioned this a little bit, but specifically, is the river swimmable? And for paddleboarding or boating, are there crocs in the river?
It's swimmable. It depends on the time of year. I mean, during the green season, the rainy season, it can run pretty fast, and you have to pick where you swim. But yeah, a lot of people paddleboard and kayak on it a lot. As where it comes out into the ocean is kind of brackish, but you have the sand. So it's a mix of salt and fresh water. It's a nice place to swim as well. There are some Cayman crocs. They're the tiny ones. In fact, I had one for a pet for a little while, but I found they're not.
You and your pets, Patrick.
They're not that cuddly. I actually love reptiles. Anybody that likes to help save turtles, we have a giant sea turtle sanctuary right on site, just a little ways down from Playa Pacifica. So, always looking for people to help out with that. But I'm a reptile fan. It's kind of weird. I've had, python snakes and, like I said, Cayman crocodiles and things like that. But they're not, there's a possibility. There have been some bigger crocodiles in the area, but it's pretty rare to see them.
Perfect. Last question here. We're going to wrap it up here, guys. So if any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in there real quick. But last question, dogs on the beach and in the water off a leash. A-okay, or what would you say to that?
There's so much beach space that a lot of people let their dogs, and we used to have 2 kittens. We'd actually bring our kittens to the beach. They're not that fond.
You're kidding. You have more pets?
We're trying to make them like the
They make some dogs, I think. But no, inside the community, if you're walking around other people, just be courteous if have them dog, especially if it's a bigger dog on a leash. By the restaurant, people generally keep their dog on a leash. There's not the kind of rules that you have in North America, but more common sense. But on the beach, you know, you can walk a few hundred meters down the beach and let your dog run and play, and there's no problem with that. So
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that was our last real question here. I see that Jono, I'm not sure how to say that. You just were able to join us. Thanks for tuning in. Even here at the end, we will be sending a recording out to all of those that registered for the webinar today. So be on the lookout for that recording to come into your inbox. Again, just double check spam. If you're waiting to hear from us and you don't see anything, check your spam, promotions folder, if you're a Gmail person, and we will definitely make sure that we get that recording over to you. But any last words, Andrea, Patrick?
I did forget to say one thing on the dog issue. They're building a dog park there as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So then if you've got a dog that might not be as social as others, then there's a place for them to run around. So, but anyway, so other than that, I just want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in, and I really appreciate you taking your time out to hear us talk about something we're really proud of. The Playa Pacifica community is going to be amazing. We're looking forward. You know, I'm very eager to get our home built there. I can't wait to be. You know, we're pretty close to the beach in our home that we have there now, but this will be right on the beach, and
and it's hybrid also. That's what we like. That
exactly.
Save a lot of electricity bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the same for me. Very, very happy to be here. Thank you for everybody that have been here through the whole presentation. As Ali was mentioning, just send us any questions. We are going to answer any questions you have, and also be with you every step in the process if you're interested in one of these homes. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And Julie, I saw your question just come in. I'll have Andrea address that specifically with you offline here. But I do want to let you guys know, make sure you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. A lot of the updates and announcements that we have come through those platforms. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and jump on over and follow us, like us, so that you can be up to date with all of these fun new events. Not only that, but we are looking at doing some really fun stuff in the coming months, as far as we're going to have some live cocktail hours, some Ask Me Anythings, where we're going to just be not one-on-one, but in a more informal setting with you guys. You can ask us anything about the countries, the communities, and just our experiences. So join us on those different platforms, follow us along so that you don't miss anything that we have coming up in the coming months. So thank you again for joining us. Be on the lookout for the recording in your inbox, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.